Hello guys, how are you? This is Ms. Farah Talat, your world history teacher, and we're going to continue in this class talking about absolutism in the Ottoman Empire. We're going to start talking, we finished last time talking about page 252, Sulaiman I and his government, and we finished it in 253. Now we're going to talk about religion in the Ottoman Empire, replacing the Sultan, and military power. So we're going to stay on page... No, we're going to continue also about emperors after Sulaiman. Yes, we're going to continue about emperors about after Sulaiman. So we're going to continue from page 253 until page 254. So let's start with that. Okay, so this is a page from the book, page 253. We're going to talk about religion in the Ottoman Empire, but let me go back before. At the previous class, Sulaiman I and his government, we said that he controlled the court and he controlled administrative branch, which means the economy, and he controlled the military, and finally the religious institution. So he controlled the religious institution as a mosque, and when he controlled the ulamas, and he controlled the educational institution also as the madrasas, which is the high level of educational institution the ulamas taught in that madrasa about religion and about life. So we said that he controlled he controlled what the people were taught in the schools, and he kept an eye on what the ulama were thinking and teaching the people in general. Okay, the people in his society. Now let's talk about. So we said the military is led by who? By the Sultan, but is head by who? By the general, and led by who? By the Sultan. Now Sulaiman I controlled what? He controlled the ulama and he controlled the madrasa. In other words, he controlled the mosques and he controlled the educational institutions. Now, justify. Sulaiman I controlled both the ulama and the madrasa because he wanted to control what the people were taught in the schools, and he wanted to keep an eye on what the ulama were thinking. Okay, now going to religion in the Ottoman Empire. So we said that Sulaiman, he controlled the religion in the Ottoman Empire. The first question we're gonna ask is Okay. The first question is, how did Sulaiman I control religion? How did he control religion? We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's in yellow. We're going to explain one in each, and we're going to talk about it. So the first point about how did Sulaiman I control religion, that he became a dominant over the religious institutions, which means that he fully control over the world, over the religious institution of his empire. In order for him to control the religious institution, he needed to control what first? The ulamas. So under him controlling the religious institution, they said that he made, or he wrote or informed what? A new laws, or he formed new laws. Okay, in those new laws, he said that the religious clergy became what? Servants of his state under the theocracy. What is the meaning of theocracy, guys? Theocracy, it means that now the state is under the rule of a clergyman or a religious man, that he's talking in the name of God, or he's acting like he's the God. So whatever he's saying, you must do. Whatever he's saying about religion, you must do, because he's the one who, like, with the full information, and he knows everything about religion, and he's saying anything from the words of God. And here we can say that Sulaiman I, he began to become a dominant one, okay, an absolute monarch. Okay, so they're saying that he became dominant religious over religious institutions, right? He formed, or he wrote new laws in those laws, in order for him to control the religious institution, he needs to control the ones who teach the people in those religious institution. So he said that the ulamas are now what the clergyman, the religious clergyman, became servant to him and servant to his state under the system of what, or policy of what? Policy of theocracy. Means that I'm talking words by the name of God. Now here, the ulamas under the new laws, or after the new laws, they became what? They became two things. Number one, they became an extension of the government, so they're no longer a main thing in the government. No, they are the extension of the government. What government? The government that was ruled by Sulaiman the First's government. Okay, Suleiman's government. So they are just an extension for that government, and they are what? They are following whatever he's saying about religion, because they follow the religious authority that also was ruled by Suleiman. So Suleiman was controlling the religious institution by controlling the ulamas under the policy of theocracy. They became eventually, after the new laws, an extension of the government and following the religious authority at that time, Suleiman. The second thing that Suleiman did to control religion, that he controlled every form, everything from local village schools up to what? Up to the giant madrasas in his empire. Again, he's controlling the ulamas, so it's so obvious for him to control the what? The educational institutions here. So he is controlling the educational institutions. He's controlling everything from small schools until like small local village schools, up to what? Up to the giant madrasas. And he's controlling what is allowed to teach it in that madrasas and schools, and what is not allowed to teach them there. This is number two. Now they're continue telling you about number two something. They're telling you that now the ulamas are working for him. When the ulamas are working for him, guys, now he's Muslim and he's a monarch, and he's an absolute monarch. He's dominant and he's controlling everything, and he is Muslim. So what do you think ulama is gonna teach? They're gonna teach everything about what? About the Islamic Sharia. So they continue telling you here that ulama now are working for him, and the Ottoman Empire became what? Committed to maintaining the Islamic Sharia. So justify why the Ottoman Empire now is committed to maintaining the Islamic Sharia, because the ulamas are working for Sulaiman the First, and he was Muslim, and he was dominating the religious institution and the educational institution. So everyone must obey whatever Sulaiman the First is saying, and he's saying under the policy of theocracy, which means I'm saying everything by the name. I'm a religious man saying everything by the name of God. So everyone must maintain the Islamic Sharia and obey whatever he's saying. Okay.